Are you ready to buy a home, but you're starting to feel like very overwhelmed by it, by maybe all the hidden fees that you see? So trust me, you're not alone. Many first-time buyers have no idea how closing costs can actually catch them off guard. So closing costs are one of the most misunderstood parts of the home buying process, all right? And it's essential that you actually understand them so you can plan ahead. So think of closing costs like the final hurdle before you can actually call yourself a homeowner. It's the last step, but it's a crucial one. So when you are buying a home, you're not just paying the sticker price for the house, you are also responsible for a bunch of additional fees that can add up quickly. These fees can be a major shock for most buyers out there who aren't actually prepared, which is why understanding closing costs is such a vital thing to do. So in today's market, it's more important than ever to know what you're getting yourself into. With the prices rising and interest rates changing all the time, it's crucial to stay informed about every aspect of the home buying process, including closing costs. So many buyers think that they understand closing costs, but the truth is there are a lot of misconceptions out there. One of the biggest myths is that closing costs are just a bunch of random fees thrown together, but that's not the case. There are actually specific reasons why you are being charged these fees, and understanding what they are for you can make all the actual difference. So another misconception is that closing costs are always the same, no matter where you are buying. But that is just not true. Closing costs can vary widely depending on the location, the type of property, and even the lender you are working with. So some buyers think that closing costs are just a way for the lenders and the banks to make a little bit extra money off of them. But in reality, most of these fees are legitimate and necessary. They are just not always going to be clearly explained, and that's why we're here. So when you're buying a home, you are working with a whole team of professionals. Real estate agents, lenders, attorneys, title companies, and more. And each of these professions need to get paid for their work. That's where a lot of the closing costs actually come from. It's also important to understand that closing costs are not the same as your down payment. Your down payment is the amount of money you are putting down on the home up front, whereas closing costs are the additional fees you pay at the end of the process. One of the most confusing things about closing costs is that they can be quoted in different ways. Sometimes you'll see them quoted as a percentage of the sales price, and sometimes you'll see them quoted as a flat fee. Either way, it's essential to understand what you're actually looking at so you can actually plan accordingly. When you are calculating your closing costs, you need to think about the total amount you will be paying, not just the individual fees themselves. This can help you get a better sense of how much you will actually need to budget for. There are so many different components that make up closing costs, from the appraisal to title insurance to loan origination fees, and each of these components serve as a specific purpose in the home buying process. One of the most significant components of closing costs is the title insurance. This is essentially a policy that protects you and the lender from any potential issues with the property's title. Another key component is the appraisal fee. These fees pay for an appraiser to come out and evaluate the value of the property to make sure it's worth what you are paying for. You also have to pay loan origination fees, which are essential the cost of processing your loan. These fees can vary depending on the lender that you actually choose and the type of loan you are getting. So taxes and insurance are also a big part of closing costs. You need to pay the property taxes and insurance up front, which can be a significant expense. These are usually going into escrow. One of the most important things to understand about closing costs is that they can vary significantly depending on the location. Closing costs in one state or region might be completely different from those in another. It's also important to shop around for the best deal on the closing costs. Different lenders and title companies can offer you different rates, so it pays to do your research. And you might be wondering if there is any way to actually negotiate or reduce closing costs. The answer is yes, but you need to know how to go about it. One strategy is to ask the seller to contribute to your closing costs as a part of the deal. Another strategy is to shop around for the best deal on the closing cost. As I mentioned earlier, different lenders and different title companies can offer different rates, so it pays to do your research. You could also try to negotiate with the lender or title company directly. If you are a strong borrower or you're working with a reputable real estate agent, you might be able to actually get a better deal. But be careful with that. When it comes to closing costs, knowledge is power. The more you know and understand what you are paying for and why, the better equipped you will be to make smart decisions throughout the home buying process. So, what's the takeaway here? Closing costs are an essential part of buying a home, and understanding them is key to avoiding the surprising fees and staying on budget. So remember, it's not just about the sticker price of the home, it's about all the additional costs that come with home ownership. So don't forget to share your own experiences with the closing costs in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about the whole home buying process, be sure to check out our next video on tips and tricks for first-time home buyers.